Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told how to voice radio, so today I'm going to be having a little bit of a gander at a Pokemon which I believe should be played an awful lot more than it currently is. And it's a Pokemon that's only actually ever had 2 cards released. It's Barbaracle. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds like the kind of Pokemon that would give half-wassies. Although we wouldn't, for fairly obvious reasons. Barbaracle was a card we all got kind of excited about, and then never really saw any play. But the way the format's shaping up at the moment, I think that could be about to change. Now, being a water Pokemon, it does evolve from a water Pokemon, which is lovely because it gives us access to Brooklet Hill. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't know, Wassy, it's going to be a little bit annoying to get it out. Nope, Brooklet Hill helps you very nicely. That's really good. You also have access to Aqua Patch, which would be a good thing if you were ever going to attack with this, but you're not. So don't worry your pretty little heads about it. It has got a high retreat cost, which means you can search it out with Heavy Ball, but it also means as a bench sitter it's going to be kind of a pain, so Floatstone needs to come in. But there is one thing we are excited about when it comes to Barbaracle, and it's the ability Hand Block. If you have a Stadium card in play, your opponent can't attach any special energy cards from his or her hand to his or her Pokemon. Alrighty then. Now the first thing is you've got to have a Stadium in play. You can't have your opponent having a Stadium in play, but that's okay. Just play more Stadiums than that. Just play like 5 Stadiums and replace their Stadiums. Make 4 of them Brooklet Hill. There you go. You're sorted. Seriously, most people are playing like 4 Stadiums max. Just play 5 Stadiums. You're going to be absolutely fine, and it's going to work out quite nicely indeed. But the key thing here is you stop your opponent attaching any special energy cards from his or her hand to his or her Pokemon. And we are in a format at the moment where special energy is absolutely huge. Let's take the last big, massive, international tournament. The London International Championships. What won that? A combination of Zoroark and Golisopod, which really revolves around double colourless energy. Now, Golisopod can use basic grass, but those lists tend to play 3 or 4 basic grass, which means you can come in playing cards like Crushing Hammer, like Team Flare Grunt, maybe even a little bit of the old Plumeria, get rid of all their basic energy, and then of course they can't play special energy because Barbaracle is blocking them. Hand block, blocking and playing special energy. It worked perfectly. A Zoroark GX deck that can't just casually use a riotous beating is going to be an issue. Now, speaking of issues, Barbaracle is weak to grass, but then again, it's got like 100 HP, so first impression, we'll get a one-hit KO anyway. But then your opponent is having to use something like a Guzma as their supporter for the turn to try and drag it active just to KO it, and another to stop you playing a 2-2 line and getting a couple of these on the bench. Let's take another big deck at the moment. Buzzwole is a very widely played Pokemon with Lycanroc, with Zoroark, with a whole bunch of stuff, but it's a widely played Pokemon. And then, of course, this is, oh my goodness, better when it's got Strong Energy. Strong Energy allows it to do an extra 20 damage to the active Pokemon, which adds up very quickly when you combine it with stuff like Regirock and, I don't know, Fighting Fury Belt, for instance. But then they can't play it. And here's the thing. When I say they can't play Strong Energy, it's not just that they lose that extra 20 damage, although that's big. It's that they're probably playing something like 4 Strong Energy and maybe half a dozen basic energy. So then they might not actually have the energy. They might be sitting there and all they've drawn into is their Strong Energy. They've not found any basic energy, and then all of a sudden it's not just that they don't get that extra 20 damage, it's that they don't actually have enough energy to play. As an example, at the most recent standard tournament, we saw Adrian Gomez take second place in Turin with Buzzwole Lycanroc. 9 fighting energy, 4 strong energy. Well, if you take away their strong energy, they're down to 9 basic, and they may or may not be able to find them. That's very, very big, ladies and gentlemen. But if we look at, say, Michael Pramawat's Zoroark Lycanroc deck that took first place in Memphis, which was a gigantic tournament with 999 players, which is ridiculous. His energy line was 4 double colourless, 3 strong energy, 2 fighting energy. He only played 2 basic energy. If any of his opponents dropped the Barbaracle down and played any basic energy hate, he loses. Straight away. Because he's got 2 basic fighting. Zoroark cannot attack for 1 basic fighting. Lycanroc cannot attack for 1 basic fighting. So as long as you just remove an energy or 2 from your opponent when they put it down, Michael Pramawat's list cannot stand up to a Barbaracle. Let's look at Tord Reklev's Zoroark Golisopod list that won in London. 4 double colourless energy, 3 grass energy. Now, to be fair, his Golisopod could attack for 1 grass energy, but he's got to have the Golisopod and the energy and be able to get it into the active to use first impression that turn. It is not the easiest thing in the world to accomplish. And that's kind of the point of Barbaracle. I'm not saying that putting a 1-1 Barbaracle line in your deck is going to instantly win you every tournament you ever play. That would be dumb. That would be a stupid thing for me to say. What I am saying is, we're in a format at the moment where people are winning tournaments, giant 1,000-person tournaments with 2 basic energy, winning international championships with 3 basic energy. So all you need to do is play Barbaracle and a couple of cards like Team Flare Grunt, Crushing Hammer, etc. that can discard basic energy, and all of a sudden you have got the makings of a card that could absolutely wreck. And it's just a 1-1 or a 2-2 tech line. You can play it with anything. Play it with Golisopod. Play it with Zoroark. Play it with Buzzwole. I actually really like the idea of playing it with Buzzwole, because then you've got Brooklet Hill, which searches out your Buzzwole and can search out your Binacle. Because here's the other cool thing. Any Binacle that isn't a water type would have to be a fighting type, and you could also search it out with Brooklet Hill. Of course, the other thing we can do here is we can go and have a look at the expanded format, and then we see that the best deck is Night March. Now, anyone that's familiar with Night March will know that Night March really relies on double colourless energy. So let's take a look at the most recent big expanded tournament, the regionals in San Jose, with Azul Garcia Grigo taking home first place. Sorry about the pronunciation. What do we see? 4 double colourless energy. Although the other thing I do need to mention here, and this is very important, in the expanded format, people do have access to Hex Maniac, which will turn off your ability for a turn, meaning that your opponent can attach his double colourless or her double colourless energy. Again, that doesn't mean they will have the Hex Maniac every turn with the double colourless energy without playing a supporter, because if you play a supporter to get you double colourless, you can also play a Hex Maniac. But it means that they will have options. I suppose the one good thing is they cannot play a Hex Maniac to get a double colourless energy on the same turn as they play a Guzma to bring up your Barbaracle to KO it. So that does mean that you are likely to keep your Barbaracle on the bench for the game and really force your opponent to have a Hex Maniac every turn. There are certain cards, and I've made a few videos about these cards, that I look at and go, why is nobody playing this? And right now, Barbaracle is a Pokemon that I look at and I just think, why is nobody playing this? Because the decks I've shown you in this video are not these weird little decks that may or may not see play. I've been showing you decks that have been winning tournaments, and they're really relying on special energy. I mean, if we take the first place deck from London, the first place deck from Memphis, and the first place deck from San Jose, they played a total between all 3 of them of 5 basic energy. If ever there was a time where Barbaracle could come and start wrecking, it's now, ladies and gentlemen. I called it. But as always with these videos, I need to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments your thoughts about Barbaracle. Do you believe it is as good as I've said it is, or do you think I've missed something? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. Please go and have a look at Wassy Plays, click subscribe, check out some videos. It's my video game channel, I'm trying to grow it, please show it some love. And if you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far, the most important thing as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.